It really stems back from when I was on the other end, the receiving end of enterprise and business systems, working as a consultant. I used to be an environmental scientist, and generally there are a lot of processes, practices, ways of work that made work quite crap. And I think there was a kind of something at the back of my head that made me really want to work on fixing this. Communication was really lacking, for workers that aren't aligned by location. That they're not necessarily getting the clarity of really what's going on around them, the bigger picture. Informal collaboration was lacking, the sort of the opportunities to informally connect with your colleagues that you might naturally do in the office. Perhaps you've been in a meeting and then you stop in the corridor and you have that conversation of like, just how the hell are we going to get this done? These are the conversations where work actually happens. So that was missing. Generally, the meeting experience was just really crap because leaders haven't been given the skills to manage and facilitate hybrid meetings, and managers need to be able to facilitate rather than just lead the conversation. And it's understanding how you can listen and react, and also encourage people into the conversation that might not necessarily be involved. Something like 60% of meetings roughly are ad hoc. There's a huge amount of very reactive collaboration and communication going on, and big piece of this trying just to nudge the needle away from that, so we're not always having to rely on a last minute meeting because we don't have the knowledge in front of us. Because if you're doing it properly, then suddenly you can be a lot more proactive. You can speed up decision making. You don't have to always have a meeting. And again, this comes back to trust as well. Trust is a big part of it, because if you don't have that sort of high trust environment, you typically do have to rely on a meeting just to kind of figure out what's going on, because people aren't sharing what they're doing. People are choosing to work more in isolation and using the technology, in just on its own. They're not collaborating in documents. They're not putting things into teams. It is just being done in isolation. So whereas if you have high trust, there is much richer content collaboration that's there for everybody to see and to work with, which speeds up decision making, which actually makes work a lot less crap for everybody. Something like 60% of meetings roughly are ad hoc.